And lots of good things, and lots of things that good things to build on, and lots of things that we need to get better at. So we expect to get to work. Our guys have a great attitude about that, and we'll go to work this week and try to improve and be better. Try to be up for the challenge next week, playing against Miami, who obviously had a big win down there, a dominant win, and is playing great football. So what questions do you have?
Coach, with James, the Achilles injury, do you think to make a move at left tackle, or do you have, as far as bringing somebody in, or do you think you have enough depth here to move guys around?
Yeah, I think that's something that's in conversation right now. We'll just kind of see where we're at with all the moving parts there. There's a lot of moving parts that go with that, you know, where we're at with our team, what's out there, those kind of things. So we'll continue to talk about those things. And also to add with Kyle Fuller, he will be out for the year. The MRI came back and showed us that it was a torn ACL.
John, how tough is that for him? I mean, he's a Baltimore kid, you know, had a chance to come back and play at home and for his season to end.
Yeah, you know, he was playing good football too. I think he really, he'll tell you, he really loves it here, you know, and his mom's here, and he just liked everything about what we were doing, and he fit in so well and was playing good ball in the game and really all camp. Such a serious guy, so determined. And he'll come back stronger than ever. One of those things, you know, just a crazy circumstance on AstroTurf. You know, got pushed off and just landed the wrong way in the turf, and the turf doesn't usually give as much as grass, so that's what happened.
John, sticking with the same position group, we obviously saw Marcus Peters running extensively before the game. How close was he to being able to play?
I don't have the measurement on that, Childs. That's not something I have a number on.
After watching the tape, what did you think of the job that Patrick McCary did stepping in at left tackle?
He did a good job. You know, Patrick's a guy, you know, I just talking to him after the game and just always appreciate that. You know, he plays all the positions. And you never really know where he's going to be called on to play. That's why he's so valuable, and played very well.
This Kenyon Drake just signed him, and he got to run the carries. He seemed to get better as the game wore on. You see him sort of kind of evolving there as he got more carries?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, heck yeah. I mean, he was, you know, he had some things. You know, he's still learning the offense, you know, in terms of the angles and the eyes and just assignments and formation, where to line up, routes to run, protections. I mean, there's carryover, but it's not the same, you know, from team to team. So some of that stuff was there. And then, as you said, it got better as the game went on, I thought, and started getting a little more confident, you know, in the way his running style and things like that. So, you know, he's a veteran back, knows how to run the ball, still young enough to have a lot of juice. Same thing with Mike, you know, both those guys. I thought Justice did a nice job too. So, but the run game got better as the game went on, and we've got to keep improving that. You know, obviously they were very determined to stop the run. And the RPOs, you can see on first and second down, that was their plan, to try to take those away. And at times they did a really good job of that, especially in the first half.
John, with the defensive line, is that the type of performance you were expecting going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, they'll be the position group of the week for sure. You know, they'll get the award on that. They were dominant and you know, really every way. I mean, you know, they're mad. I talked to the guys, and I talked to them in the weight room a little bit earlier. Some of the guys, and they'll bring up the play or two they want back. You know, which I appreciate about those guys. But very physical, very downhill. Pads were down, a lot of pocket push. You know, I thought they did a heck of a job.
Hey, Coach, it's obviously the biggest change for the Ravens was Mike McDonald. How do you see his first play calling in the NFL?
Oh, he did great. He did a great job, you know. And the same thing as the D-line. You know, he's talking about the ones he wants back. You know, the first thing when you have a conversation with him, but and all the different areas where we need to improve, and that's what you appreciate about him. But he had no issues. He was calm. You know, he got the plays in quick. Great communication with the defensive staff. I thought they all worked really well together.
John, after watching the tape, what did you see from your rookies in their debut performance?
Well, I mean, generally, you know, as a general question, Kyle, they were all pretty good. You know, I thought they all did a pretty good job, you know. But certainly you want them to grow from that, you know, in the environment, you know, in terms of confidence, in terms of kind of getting a feel for what they're capable of out there, you know, and continue to try to take steps and grow out of that rookie label as quickly as possible.
John, what went into Nick Boyle being inactive yesterday? I know he missed, I think it was Thursday, it was listed as an ankle, but he didn't have a game status. So health-wise, it seemed like he was okay.
Yeah, we're just trying to put the best guys out there based on all the factors, you know, and that's, you know, Nick's got the factors with the knees and the ankles and things like that, and kind of getting back into the swing of things. And, you know, you got Josh, we got a number of guys who are healthy and stuff like that, completely healthy. So, you know, that's going to be week to week, really, with the different players. And Nick's doing a really good job. You know, I know Nick is chomping at the bit to play, and I'm pretty sure you'll see him out there sometime soon.
John, Patrick Queen ended up playing every snap yesterday, and that had not happened last year. Is this a product of something he's doing different with Mike McDonald? Do you anticipate him having a 100% workload again this year?
Well, we were hoping, that he'd be a 3-down linebacker, and he's earned that during training camp. I wasn't anticipating him being out there for 84 plays. That's a little much, but that's kind of on us too. The whole team. The defense can limit their plays out there with the penalties. We extended some drives with that, and the 4th down stops. We could have got off the field a couple times, and then offensively, we keep the ball longer, and that'll limit the defensive snaps too. So I'm not so much concerned about he's out there every snap. It's just kind of how many snaps, and that's more of a team effort.
John, especially with Kyle out, it seems Brandon Stevens will be leaned on even more. What did you like about how he played yesterday?
Played a really good, fundamentally sound football game, technique-wise. Eyes were in the right spot. Very solid game. Made plays on the ball. Key plays on the ball to get us off the field. Generally played a really good game. I thought he took a step from where he was last year.
How impressive is that for him? I mean, it's one thing, talk about a boundary corner playing, moving inside the nickel, but going back and forth from safety to corner the way he has the last couple of years as far as picking that up and contributing.
It is a great thing. It's a great point you make, Luke. I mean, it's a hard thing to do. He just takes it in stride, and he's very smart. He's very conscientious. So he always learns, and he's never sensitive. Is that the word? Defensive. He just wants a sponge. He just wants more information all the time. So he's done a good job with it.
They play every snap on defense. Chuck Clark. How valuable is his versatility to come down, close to line of scrimmage, play back, and he's all over the field?
All over the field, Garrett. Chuck was instrumental in everything we did. He was communicating the defenses out there. I think he was the green dot this week. The mystery was solved, Jonah. We got it solved. So I thought Chuck played an excellent football game. Pass defense, run game, organizing us, excellent game.
How was train ride?
Train ride was nice. Yeah, it was good. The train, I would advocate Amtrak, and Northeast Corridor. I need an Amtrak deal or something, But it was great. Food was great. Relaxing. It's always nice with a win. It's way better. Amtrak's way better with a win. I can tell you that.
We talked to Devin yesterday post game, but both receivers and your thoughts on them and Rashad Bateman, the touchdown scorers from yesterday. How happy are you for Rashad to get that deep touchdown yesterday?
Right. Well, yeah, it's a great point. I mean, receivers so often get judged on a couple plays, and when we grade the tape, we grade it on all the plays. So, but they're out there also to make those plays. I mean, that's the difference in games, and it was a difference in this game in a lot of ways. It was one of the key differences was the big plays and the big play differential, and that's an important part of any game, especially in the National Football League when the margin is that fine. So, Devin made the 2 plays and Bate made the 1 play. Those were 3 big touchdown passes right there that turned the game. So I'm happy for those guys. I'm proud of those guys. It's something that, I think that they were visualizing happening in the first game, and for them to kind of break through in the first game and make those plays, it's a confidence, shot in the arm. So we just got to keep building on it.
John, there's a lot of attention on Michael Pierce this offseason. He wasn't here. He's been out there kind of every day at practice. How have you seen him, and he led all the defensive linemen in snaps yesterday, how have you sort of seen him build up throughout the summer and get to the point where he was able to be relied on so heavily yesterday and played well even late in the game too?
Yeah. Well, he came back in shape. I mean, he could have probably been a little lighter, when he came back. He wasn't like he was bad though at all, if you want to call it that, but he was in football shape, and he practiced that way all the way through camp. So just the way he played yesterday was the way he's been practicing all through training camp. And Michael's a pro. He's a good guy. He really matters to him. I think he's very motivated and determined to have a great year, and he had a great start yesterday. I mean, he was dominant. Not the whole D-line was dominant, but he was right there, man, leading the charge.
Fully the defensive line, when you see like a 300-pound guy, like Justin Madubuike, there's no play that he moved like a linebacker and pulling his running back. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, he made a play on a screen. He chasing guys out of the pocket. He was explosive all over the field. Pass rush was explosive, setting the tone. You know, he's another guy that I think is very determined to make a name for himself. You know, he wants people to remember him. I think he wants people to know how to pronounce his name, you know. And you got to make plays for that to be the case. And he had a good start, definitely, yesterday.
John, how much, I know a lot of factors go into preparation for a game, but how much did familiarity with their quarterback go into, how much of a factor did that play in you guys' preparation?
I don't think it was a big factor, really. I mean, it was their offense. And, you know, Joe, we know a lot about every quarterback. You know, you see these guys in games, we know all their stats, and we kind of know what all the guys are. So it wasn't that big of a difference. It was a nicer conversation before the game and after the game that I normally have with guys, you know, and got to hear about Joe's 5 kids, you know, and got a couple pictures, you know, and that's cool. You know, that's what you appreciate because it's bigger than football. But I thought Joe played a really good game. You know, obviously completed a lot of passes and got the ball out, hung in there under duress. You know, he was under a lot of pressure and handled it well. So, I mean, you give Joe all the credit, give their team the credit. They played hard playing team. So, but it was a good thing, but wouldn't want to overstate that part of it.
John, I know this is kind of a little more of a nuanced issue, and kind of you have to look at specific plays to determine, but there was several times where it seemed play clock was running down really late. Was that mechanism and all that, was that working like you would have liked? Were you up there at the line of scrimmage quicker? And is that something you guys have spent a lot of time on?
Well, we were doing more of our game plan play calls. So we were running more of our, you know, we call them call and run it plays, more of our kind of plays that are good against everything. They weren't too many specific defensive beater plays that were in there. There were some, you know, dual calls that can be one play or the other. We're looking for a man or zone or looking for a certain front or going a direction. Those are some. Those get a little more lengthy. And sometimes the game plan calls get a little more lengthy because they're formationed up. You know, we've got motions and formations that have to be communicated. So I think that contributes to it. We didn't have as many of the one-word fast calls as we have in some games because we just didn't know what we were going to get. You know, we had to kind of be ready because you can put the wrong thing up, you know, and all of a sudden it can really look bad. And we didn't want to have negative plays in the game. We didn't want to get hit 7 yards in the backfield on a sweep, you know, because it was just the wrong type of a play. So I would attribute it to that, but I also would say that we need to operate quicker, you know, from the whole thing can be quicker, and we have to look at the play calls a little bit like every team does. I promise you, Jeff, every team, every offense goes through this is because there's a lot to communicate. And, you know, there's a lot of plays in in the game plan. So the more you can tell the guy in the huddle, the less they have to memorize in a big game plan. So that's something that coaches have to deal with. So we'll look at where we can tighten some of those up and make them quicker and easier for Lamar to communicate as well.
Isaiah likely probably didn't have the first game that he would have wanted to have, and there had been so much excitement about him in the preseason. With a young guy like that, do you kind of pull him aside after the game for a word of encouragement, or like how do you deal with that?
Yeah, you know, I don't know yet. I haven't seen him yet. So when I see him, he'll probably come to me, you know, what to say. But first game, first real game. He did okay. You know, he did some good things, but, you know, we can't have a holding block in the call on the perimeter. I mean, it's happened in the preseason 2 or 3 times, and now it comes up this game. No, that's not cool. That's not all right. Why does it happen? Because your footwork, your angle, and your target are wrong. But, you know, we had a veteran guy. You know, another guy had one of those on the perimeter as well. You know, those are very costly. That takes away big runs and gets drives started. So, and that's just fundamentals. That's being on the right angle and being on the right target. So that's the one I'm not going to be as nice to him about. You know, some of the other stuff. Listen, man, you can go make those catches. Yeah, they weren't perfectly thrown because, you know, the quarterback's getting you the ball, but he's also trusting you to make those catches. And you can make them. You make them every day in practice. I'll probably tell him that, you know, about some of those catches he had a chance to make.
John, how does it kind of affect how you and Giro create a game plan when you have guys like Andrews and Likely who can line up in the slot? And even if you don't have 3 wide receiver formation, you still have guys who are kind of flexed out there.
I think that's a very good observation, and that's probably what we're going to be a lot. You know, those guys are going to be on the field as much as we can put them out there because they're also receivers. You know, they're just bigger receivers. But, you know, they're good blockers too. So that's good for us. So I think you'll see those guys out there quite a bit.
John, 4th down in the first quarter, did you not like the look you were getting from the Jets? Or just, how did that?
Yeah, we weren't lined up quite right. You know, the look wasn't right for what we had called, and we weren't we weren't really certain. And I just, at that point in time, I pulled the plug on the play. Just I felt like I don't want to go for this right here at midfield early in the game if I'm not really confident that we're right to get it. So I called the timeout and said, you know what, let's just play it safe. Let's punt them down in there and let our defense play. Once I saw how it looked and how it felt.
It looked like we counted Lamar had about 10 first down play action fakes, and was that due to the fact that the Jets tried to stop the run and that was their goal?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to do that. Play action is going to be a big part of what we do, and we can execute that so much better. We can sell it better, make it more believable. You know, if you're going to be a running team, then you're going to want to be a play action team too. You saw them run a number of play actions as well. A lot of teams around the league do that. Play action is important. It's one of the most successful, efficiently successful plays in the NFL. So something we should be good at, and we want to keep using.
John, you half answered it with your frustration of talking about the 2 holding calls, but you had a relatively cut team pre-game, 5-0. How much is that stressed?
Yeah, I'm happy about that. The best thing was, to your point, is that it was the pre-snap stuff really was good. You know, we're in there. It's loud. It's loud. You know, I mean, the flag. Did you see the flag? Right? I mean, how cool was that? It covered the whole field. You know, and it was quite an environment. Their fans are into it. It's a loud fan base. You know, their team stresses you. They stress you with the looks, with the way they run upfield. They put a lot of people around the line of scrimmage. They run to the ball. They're very physical. So all that being said, I thought our guys handled the pre-snap stuff well. We didn't have those mistakes. So that was a big plus for us and a big reason why we won.
Okay.
All right, great, everyone. Thank you.